This heartwarming documentary follows the development of Memento Vivere, a piece by Age on Stage, a dance company formed of performers aged 70+. Talking head interviews with company members are intercut with rehearsal footage and extracts from a live performance. The rehearsal footage shows vibrant and charismatic director Charlotta Öfverholm, often referred to as Lotta, in her element as she shapes the piece and draws out performances from her cohort of playful performers. Several locations are featured in the documentary. A large white-walled rehearsal room with mirrors along one side. The live performance takes place in a black box venue with black walls, black floor, and colourful stage lights. The talking head interviewees are filmed individually in separate homely locations. The show deftly mixes dance, singing, and storytelling. Characters often narrate an experience whilst also embodying it in the space, all being physically moved or manipulated by other company members. There's a cheeky, playful quality to the movement, which can quickly then become morose or imbued with sadness. Quick and frenzied movements becoming slow and sustained, fusing contemporary, lyrical dance with modern styles. Documenting the process of developing the elders as performers and the process of creating Memento Vivere, this engaging film also invites the audience to explore and challenge beliefs around what it means to be older. SADLER'S digital stage. In a dressing room, several older female performers carefully apply their makeup. Also in this dressing room, older male performers are making final adjustments to their outfits. The performers chat excitedly to each other as they finish their final preparations backstage. A quote which reads, "Oh man, learn to dance or else the angels in heaven will not know what to do with you." St. Augustinus, 354 to 430 AD. Remember to live. In a rehearsal studio, choreographer Lotta shouts direction at a group of older dancers. Subtitles: "Good, look this way, Frederick." A dancer playfully whips off his t-shirt as the others cluster round him. Their director Lotta dances on the sidelines as the topless man bounces around. Company member Ulla. Subtitles: Emptiness. Emptiness after being so intimate with each other for so long.
Efter att ha varit så intimt.
It gets better and better with each day, but on Monday it was very empty. There was an intense email exchange about how much we miss each other. The group is something very special to me. I am very happy that I can be part of them. It's very meaningful. It is a special group since we have gotten to know each other through touch, you could say. It's on another level than if I compared with my other friends. It's more tactile. We have rubbed bodies against each other and in that way gotten to know each other. Besides talking to each other, of course. In rehearsals, two dancers hold a gentle embrace. Kim. Growing older, it's incredibly interesting in itself. Life itself, so to speak. But there is also an attitude in society that you are not worth as much. Lotta sees. She sees the opportunities. She sees something entirely different. And it's not because we are older. That's a niche in itself. But she sees these lives that have gone through these experiences and knowledge. That have gone through so many, both fun and tragic events. And yet here we stand, still not giving up. A group of dancers are huddled together, bouncing to the beat. A line of dancers playfully skips around them. All the dancers beam brightly as they move to the beat. Birgitta. Something sparks in people's eyes when we meet each other. It's something we have that is, I don't know what you call it in our time, spiritual or physical, body and soul together, or what should one say? I think it partly comes from us being all older and feeling that we are becoming more and more limited. And then suddenly we don't need to be limited. But on the contrary, maybe go a bit outside the boundaries and do a bit extra with the risk that it suddenly hurts a lot and that I can't continue. It's a balancing act. In rehearsals, a performer says, she is locked up, covered in rags and wrapped in barbed wire. Birgitta. I can think of myself as an 81-year-old lady, spotty in the face and arms, the skin hangs and wrinkles, and then you look down at the thighs, they're all wrinkly. And yet one should stand up and be powerful or agile or whatever one should be. It's a bit funny with that paradox to both dare to be in one's age and also try to stand up for something good and beautiful and fun. In performance, they skip around a stage. What I also find fun in this is that we get to work with deep, difficult things. To dare to be absolutely open and vulnerable and think that it's an asset. Instead of being careful and not saying too much and holding back and being proper. She giggles with others in rehearsal. Can one have this much fun at this age? Lotta's directing. Subtitles. You really need to take the stage. Be here in the middle until Matti arrives, yes?
Yes.
We really need to see that you've got the dance fever, yeah?
Yeah.
Because you keep going and it drives everyone crazy in the end. Yes, this is better. Hans.
I find it incredibly exciting when we get this flow right, that everyone knows where they're going. There's a kind of energy that emerges that I love.
In rehearsals, dancers weave around each other.
I mean, when I feel that, it's such happiness. You're in a context. It's not just me, but I depend on everyone else.
A cluster of dancers moving in slow motion.
It takes a long time before we achieve this flow that everyone longs for. Going through a process, there are many interruptions.
A montage of Lotta directing. Very good, but let's do it again. Again, please. One more, better. That's good, let's do it again. Once more. Ouch, 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 okay? Good, we continue. Once more from a bit of this. Let's take just this part one more time.
And it's painful. For me, it feels very painful not to. I want to continue. Instead of practice a scene. But it turns out fine in the end. But it's tough.
A male dancer takes center stage in the rehearsal room. The others are frozen still. They watch as he spins and twirls with abandon around the space. Now all the dancers stand tall as they sing together. Thomas.
There's something about our age that's quite nice. It's a kind of why not age. What have I got to lose? Why wouldn't I try? If it's not dangerous, then why not? And it's a bit like, it might feel different for different people, but it feels like this group here, I got to meet lots of why not people. I think that I expanded my repertoire, and by that I mean my human repertoire, thanks to this performance.
The company listen intently as Lotta directs them.
Yes.
Then you start walking, and then you walk like you forgot to be dogs, there and faster there. And what's your cue for the dogs? She says dogs, you look. Then you stand up. When?
Inte stark.
Not strong. Yes, but only a few did that. Annika, it's the energy in her, this tiny body. Lotta has so much power and she spreads it. We get energy from Lotta. She's a master at getting this group to suddenly become very alert and very involved and very happy. In rehearsals, Lotta has a huge grin on her face as she dances around the company members. Birgitta, Lotta is so incredibly passionate and it's so wonderful, and not just sometimes but practically all the time. Lotta, very good. One thing, Frederick, don't start right here. It was too early. It's very nice to have this when you dance and everyone is in slow motion. Matti.
She doesn't give up until she gets the result she wants. When we rehearse, we have to do it over and over and over. And there was always someone who missed something. I did that too, stood daydreaming, thinking about something else. And everyone did it at some point. But she didn't give up. She takes us seriously. I really like that. That she actually counts on us all being complete amateurs, that we can actually deliver.
In rehearsals, the company shuffle excitedly around the space. Lotta steps towards them.
Stop!
I said that when the music starts, then we break. No voices and it becomes slow motion, okay? If you don't listen and take in, then we will stay here. We won't move forward. We need to create a piece. Hans.
We have improvised a lot. We have worked a lot with different tempos, completely frozen or as if drunk, a bit chaotic, crazy, slow motion.
Dancers in a tight group with hands resting on each other sway gently.
There's a lot of different forms of movement that have created a dynamic in the whole thing.
A dancer crows like a rooster.
Sometimes it might be a bit incomprehensible. Why does a rooster suddenly come in and crow?
The other dancers watch, mesmerized.
That playfulness doesn't just end because one is 70 or 80 years old. I think in some ways the thing with age disappears. It has during this time. And they are so beautiful, the women and the men too. It's wonderful.
Brita. She sees us and she brings out different sides in each of us in some way, even though we are such a large group. But it's fascinating that we managed it. We think so ourselves too. In rehearsals, the company circle Lotta, who's thrusting her hips. Birgitta. Both this freedom and in a way boundlessness, and suddenly one must be incredibly disciplined. One must turn to the left all the time, or the right, and one must take 5 steps, not 3. Lotta directing. Then you go there, and then after that, she starts swaying. You know, and then suddenly you see the audience looking out like, she mimes pointing at the audience. Yeah, then you take this off. She mimes pulling off her top. Kim, the whole ensemble has complete trust in what she sees, what she can do, and where she is heading in herself. Because she has her own idea about everything, and the rest of us don't always have access to her vision because it's hidden from her as well. That's how you function as an artist. Suddenly it becomes something that I hadn't imagined at all. You usually know when it arrives. Then Charlotta starts looking up at the ceiling and seems a bit thoughtful. Then it comes. We have to do this. Now we're going to do it like this. And then she's seen an image. Because she is who she is, she gets us on board. Then we do what she says. On stage, the dancers all raise one arm in the air in unison and wave slowly. They stare into the distance, their torso swaying as they wave. Annika. How should my body move when Lotta wants to bring this out? You go more into yourself and offer more of yourself. The dancers open their arms wide. As an amateur, you don't understand that what you think is visible isn't. You have to learn to do something more, and I think Lotta has managed to bring this out in many of us, myself included. In rehearsals, Annika's character shakes a wailing man. Quiet. Can you be quiet, Jan? She turns to the others. Shape up. They reply, damn bitch. Thomas.
When I tell people how many rehearsals we had, they think we're crazy. We are retirees, we have time. This fills both body and soul to the brim with everything that one can get from life. Why would I do anything else? I am very happy every time I leave there. I dance out.
Rehearsals. In my dream, I was driving a big Harley Davidson in quicksand. The woman is lifted. Matty.
And I find it hard to describe the performance, whether it's dance, if it's theatre or what it is. It's a stage work that deals with some people's memories. But what it mainly aims to show is older bodies in motion and action. That's what I think it mainly is. It's something interesting and it's something special to show these older bodies.
On stage, as a male dancer talks to the audience, the others all turn away from him.
Because you notice that the eye is not used to it.
A dancer gently strokes another dancer's face. Annika. With Memento Vivere, we wanted to remind to cherish that living is fantastic and it's wonderful if one can do things together. And that music, dance and theatre are very liberating at an old age, and not just for the young. When you see those old people on stage doing this, maybe I can do it too. And then you spread something positive. In rehearsals, a woman rounds on a group who are taunting her. Oh, I am so angry. It's been too many years with that mythomaniac.
Det blev alldeles för många år med den där mytomanen.
Birgitta, this thing that we get to jump around, that we get to do things that you're not supposed to, I think that it has made us release something within ourselves and see someone else do it. Stand like this, for example. She thrusts her chest forwards, then claws her hands and screws up her face. And also supposed to look like this in the face, as ugly as possible. And that it's not dangerous to be ugly. And I also think that old age is so hidden in Sweden. And at all costs, we should not age, as it's a bit shameful and ugly. And I also think about trying to make old age a bit beautiful and meaningful, and not to fear aging, but to embrace it. Two dancers pepper kisses on each other's lips. Or think, am I this old? What does that mean? And not at any cost smooth things over and conform. Thomas.
I think life is more and more a balancing act between walking on the tightrope that is life. On one side are one's limitations. If I lean too much to that side, I'll fall into my limitations. The body changes. I guess I'm old.
The dancers coldly brush past each other.
And on the other side is the limitless, and finding the path between my limitations as an aging person and the limitless that still exists. Walking there is so incredibly awesome, and such a project really gives me a chance to go there, try new things.
Now the dancers embrace each other.
And to dare things that I'm afraid of. And the anxiety. Anxiety should not be underestimated but considered. But some types of anxiety should be challenged. Which anxiety should I challenge? It's okay to challenge this one, why not?
In rehearsals, Lotta smiles proudly as she watches two seated dancers mime talking to each other. One of them jumps out of their seat, grabs the hand of the other and pulls them reluctantly to their feet. Hans.
When I see myself in a picture, for example, it's quite painful sometimes. I see my imperfection, and that's something one has as a physical person. But one wants so much more. Ideally, one would want to fly, but I can't do that yet.
One female dancer stares ahead, lost in thought. Gently, she starts to arch her head and torso backwards. Her hands undulate as she reaches for the sky. Still reaching up, the dancer slowly begins to sink to her knees. Her hands curl towards her face as she lowers her head. Hans is lost in thought for a moment.
Maybe it's not possible to fail, really. It's just something we've come to believe. It's just another way of doing things.
A performer sings on stage. The lyrics, "Lay my head in your lap."
It wasn't without worry, anxiety and fear that I presented my story. It was very emotional for me.
On stage, the dancers reach towards the audience.
What was an incredible support was that after telling it for the first time, which was really tough, it felt this group with Charlotta, we supported each other to get the story to land on solid ground. So we weren't just flying around like weather vanes and victims of the stories, but this process made me stand quite steady in this story. And yet without it losing meaning, feeling or significance.
Lotta demonstrates a movement. Kim, if she likes something, she tells it. If she thinks something should not be included, she doesn't say it in any unpleasant way, but we skip it. We strike that thing, and you just have to accept it. Footage of Lotta directing. And I am deeply in love with that clarity. I trust that Lotta knows what she wants. Not immediately, but intuitively, she knows where she is heading. Lotta gives notes to the company members, who listen closely. Lotta to a dancer, "Go there."
Gå dit.
The dancer is moved into position.
Fortsätt.
Continue. Another performer speaks. She was confined, covered in rags and barbed wire. They rush over to one of the frozen performers. Suddenly, she took a huge leap. Everything let go. Brita, we have become closer to each other. There is a lot of caretaking, and I think I have rarely been in a group with such strong feelings for each other as I experience with this group. In pairs, the dancers mirror each other. It's a gift to receive. I might not have expected that when I'm 73 years old, to experience what I'm experiencing now. A dancer holds a wide leg headstand. Lotta directs another dancer to playfully wave his hands between the legs.
Okay.
The dancer beams proudly, finishing with a flourish. Hans.
This group is incredibly patient, but sometimes you are tired and unfocused, and for an 8-year-old to be highly concentrated for several hours in a row, it's not possible.
Standing in single file with Lotta at the front, a group of dancers follow her movements.
It's not possible for me either, but then in performance, everyone is there and everyone is completely present. It's fantastic.
Ula, I believe I've never been as free as now. I have felt alive. I have felt like rehearsal footage of dancers supporting each other. Yes, it has been both a pleasure and a play. I become a bit ageless and I feel like this. Dancers chat excitedly backstage. I probably have become very much myself. Dancers on stage with their arms wrapped around the back of the person beside them. Brita. Charlotta challenges us in many ways. It's not certain this will be finished until just before going on stage. In rehearsals, Lotta stands center stage and shouts, "They have taken my prostate!" Yes, because it threatened my life. Just in the beginning, you run like the chef in the Muppets. She does a bouncy run.
Yes.
Can we try that?
As if I just came up with it.
Exactly, it's gone. On stage, Tomas sings while a dancer twists around him.
I think they were captivated by the whole, that we had so much fun and there was so much energy, and all of us old folks just overflowing with the desire to tell and having fun in our frailty.
The cast thrust their hips at the audience.
I think people perceived that we were really filled with joy to do this.
The cast stride to the front of the stage to take a bow.
It was satisfying to do it 4 times, but it feels like this is not finished. I would like to be able to gather again and run this performance 3, 4, 5 more times. That would be so much fun.
The cast skip happily off the stage. A film by Anders Larsson and Mia Kasalainen. Based on the performance Memento Vivere by Charlotta Öfverholm and Age on Stage. Choreographer Charlotta Öfverholm. Assistant to choreographer Anna Jappe. Featuring a cast of 29 performers. Director of photography and edit Anders Larsson. Production sound and edit Mia Kasalainen. SADLER'S Digital Stage.